In the special occasion of Libby Ann, I'm sorry if I ruined that name, you know. Libba Ann, I'm gonna put the name here, you know, and I'm gonna watch you try to spell it out. Who am I gonna talk about? My name is barely readable. Because of her new book, The King of Crows, which is in the series The Diviners, I'm gonna review The Diviners. I don't know why I said The Diviners like that, but it felt right. And I'm gonna leave this in, even the explanation, because I like to give it raw. Not like that. You sick people. Anyhow, let's begin. The Diviners. Cue poster. Is it poster? Cover. Now. So, what is it about? It is about these group of people in 1920s with special powers. You don't know exactly what are they, and they go on an adventure. Not in a like, together we can defeat evil. More in kind of a realistic adventure. The book touches on many things from race to sexuality, not in a cringy way. You know what I mean? Some books really lay it down heavy and give you this one-dimensional character that is just there for the variety. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let's just put this character of, let's say, speaking from myself, you know, ethnic descent. So, oh, that's a mystery. He must be exotic. And they don't give you any follow-up of what is this character? Does he have depth? No. Each character has their own thing going. And that's what I loved. It kept me interested, it kept me engaged, and the most important thing was the world itself. It is based in 1926 in New York. And the city itself, it's kind of another character. You have alleyways, you have gangs, you have different mentalities, you have different way of society, and the author, beautifully done. The city was just fantastic. It was beautiful and historically accurate. You can tell from the way the world that they are in, it feels real. It feels like it was really like this in 1926. And that's what I loved about the book, from just the world building. Now, the characters. What are they? You have Evie, which nicknamed Evil in this book, which she kind of is. You know, she's kind of that brother or sibling that you have that is kind of like, I want to be free. I want to experience life. I want to enjoy life, and I want to do anything that makes me feel alive. Which kind of gets frustrating towards the end because of a certain thing. Like, no, but you know, it doesn't really ruin that much. And you have different characters. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I want you to get introduced to them as soon as you read the book, because their introductions are actually very brilliant. They give you a look on who they are as people, and that is one of the most awesome thing about this. You know, the introductions, the way these characters interact, and the meetup organically happens. It doesn't feel forced. You know, some characters, oh, this character and this character, they meet. Why? Because. Why? Because. And I hate that. You feel like, seriously? But these characters meeting and interacting with each other feels real. It feels like this could happen. And this could have happened back then. And it grounded in reality. Some parts, don't get me wrong, it's not like it's all historic. No, there is parts in the books where you're like, what in the actual living, loving ducklings in here, okay? I don't want to curse. So not because of this, because, you know, you grow old, you feel like, I don't want to curse no more. It just feels old, you know? Like a little, whatever, I digress. And that's the main thing about this book. It feels wonderful, it feels creepy, it feels dark, and these are just the character, the theme of it all. Now, where do you feel like the book went wrong, basically? It didn't. I can assure you this, it did not go wrong. It only had like one or two things that I wouldn't say ruined it, I would say just unanswered question mark. Like, there's this thing which just odd, it didn't ruin the story, it was just like, huh. Are you gonna answer that? Because it feels like we're gonna leave it. Okay. I mean, I'm just agreeing. Anyhow, and the other thing is towards the end of the book. I'm talking about the last chapter or two. If they ended the book like the chapter before it, I would have been happy. The second chapter, it felt like a pilot for the next book. It didn't ruin it, I understand, because you're an author, you need to sell more books, so you get my money, and all that. But it felt like, okay, I guess. This is weird. Okay, so this is gonna happen. Cool. And what else? Interesting. You know what it felt like? It felt like watching a Marvel movie. You see this cinematic thing and you're like, wow! And then you have like the last credit scene that hints that there's another thing. It felt like that. You could have got rid of it or left it as it is and it wouldn't really hurt the book. So let's come to the conclusion. How much do I give this book? I give it a solid 8. Now you might think, 8? I love that book. That book was awesome. It was. But for me, when I read a book, it has to be something else. Like number 9 and number 10 are reserved for hangovers. I'm talking books like as soon as you finished reading, you kept on thinking about it for 3 days, for a week, for a month. You couldn't really just take your mind out of it because you were like, that changes a lot of things. I see things in a new perspective. It really hits you right here, right in my meow. You know what I mean? Like here, right here. And that didn't give it to me. I didn't say it didn't deliver greatness. I'm giving it 8. Come on, give me some slack. But it wasn't too much that I was like dying on the floor. It was awesome. I had moments I was literally at the edge of my seat, just like, what is gonna happen? What is gonna happen? Oh my god! Oh my god, that was so close. I felt like that during the book, but it didn't feel like that throughout the book, if that makes sense. You know, it just felt like it had moments. And that's why I didn't give it 9 or 10. 8 to me is like the best I can give to something within a moderate thing. I asked my sister, because she's reading it with me, and she gave it actually a 7.5. She felt like there was a couple of things that weren't followed through. Like, again, it was like a pilot for the second book. Like a couple of characters that were introduced but never really followed up with them. So it kind of felt like, so what happened with here? Oh, we're moving on. Okay. I'm stupid for asking. I'm sorry. Forgive me. You know, and it felt like that. And she gave it a 7.5. I was like, you know what? Let's split it and just call it 8, because I always add one number to a book, which is enjoyment. Have you enjoyed this book when you read it? And I was. And I have. I enjoyed the ever-loving out of it. And honestly, that's all you can ask for a book. You know, to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Anyhow, and that book gave it to me. So, The Diviners, 8. I would say, I wouldn't tell you right now if it's a must-read, because there is a 4-book period, and the 4th book dropped in 2020. You know, and reading on The Diviners and the coming storm and anything, you could question. I'm just saying, maybe she predicted that the coronavirus is coming. You know, I'm not sure. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just saying. Just saying. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed, and goodbye. Fade out.